Hey, I'm Coach Marcus at Pink Sock Endurance Coaching. Welcome to my channel.
Hey, so welcome to week 2 of how to run a faster 5K in 12 weeks. We're now on week 2. You'll have hopefully already completed week 1. So if you've reached this video and you've not already done the week 1 training or watched the pre-course run workout video, and the same with the drills. So if you've not watched the drills video yet, go ahead, watch those first, and then you can get started on week 2. So welcome to week 2. So week 2, how to run a faster 5K in 12 weeks. Already done the first week, fantastic. So for week 2, what are we going to be doing? So in this week, same as last week, we're still going to be doing free runs. We're still going to be doing an interval session. We're going to do a threshold session, and we're going to do an easy paced run session. So that's the 3 runs that you need to do in this week 2. So I'll get straight into it. Before I do, I just wanted to say really thanks for following along. Thanks for following the videos. It's really appreciated. I'm putting this content out to help you guys, and by you guys watching it and following along, you're helping me. And the reason why I thought it'd be a good idea to put these videos together is just to give you the opportunity to involve and incorporate some structured training into your sessions. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, so this will benefit everybody. So many races have been cancelled. So many run clubs that you'd normally be attending their weekly sessions have also still been cancelled. Some of it's starting to come back. So I just thought that as a coach, I'm able to give you this information and help you build some structure back into your sessions. So when the normal returns, you're already having a head start and being able to race and still achieve your goals. So that's a little bit about why I thought it would be a good idea to do it. So we'll get back into it. So session number 1 of the week is our interval session. And this week we'll be repeating exactly what you did in week 1. So warm up. So it's important to do a thorough warm up before we do any effort, intervals, threshold, speed work, anything like that. It's always really important to make sure you do a thorough warm up. So the standard warm up throughout this 12-week course is going to be the same. So we always do our 10-minute run to start with. And by now, you know that those 10 minutes are a progressive. So for the first 8 minutes, start out nice and easy, 6, 7 out of 10 effort, ideally closer to 6 out of 10 effort. And over those first 8 minutes, you'll just build through the pace, still in your easy pace range, but you'll finish those 8 minutes probably somewhere around about 7 out of 10 effort. So you're just creeping out of your easy pace range and you're just progressing that pace. So after about 8 minutes, you'll be working closer to threshold pace, which is around about 8 out of 10. And then just for those final 2 minutes of that 10-minute warm up, you'll just build the pace a little bit more. So you're working at around about threshold pace for that last 2 minutes, closer to 8.5 out of 10. So that's the 10-minute warm up that you've done as a run. And that's part 1 of the warm up. So for the second part, we always do these drills. So watch the drills video. The link is in the description below. So go and watch the drills video and just understand how to do those drills correctly. So for those drills, normally takes around about 10 minutes. So the whole warm up is around about 20 minutes. So for the drills, we'll do the first 4 drills, which are the high knees, the butt kicks, the low skipping, and the high skipping. So each of those 4 drills, you'll do 20 seconds of the drill, followed by a 30-second recovery. And you'll then repeat that same drill for 20 seconds, and then followed by a 30-second recovery. Once you've done that, you'll then move on to drill 2, and so on, all the way through the first 4 drills. You'll then have a 30-second recovery, and then you'll start drill 5. So drill 5 is strides. So with the strides, slightly different drill. This one's around 20 to 25 seconds. And the whole purpose of strides is that you'll start off a slow pace, you'll change gear into your second pace. So start at around about 6 out of 10 for 8 to 10 seconds, then build to gear 2, about 7 out of 10 for about 6 to 8 seconds, then through to gear 3 for about 4 to 6 seconds, and then finish up gear 4, which will be around about a 9 out of 10 effort for just 2 to 4 seconds. And then as soon as you've finished that stride, slowly just release off the gas, just slow down, don't come to an abrupt halt, just slow down, go back to a walk, have your 30-second recovery. If you need slightly more, that's fine, take a minute if you need it, and then repeat the drill strides for a further 2 times. So you'll end up doing the strides drill 3 times. Once you've done that, like I said, we're roughly 20 minutes in, just have a 2-minute walk before you start the main session. So the main session, the interval session, we're repeating week 1. So we will be doing 6 times 2 minutes at our interval pace. And your interval pace as per the VDOT app. So again, if you haven't already done this, which you should have in week 1, but just go back, have a look at the VDOT app if you can't remember what your paces are. Link is in the description below. So download that VDOT app, punch your data in from that race that you've already done. That will give you your training paces required for this block of training. So find out what your interval pace is, and that is the pace that you should be sustaining throughout these 6 times 2 minute efforts. So once you've got that pace, you know what you need to run at, and away you go. So the 6 times 2 minutes, you'll run the first 2 minutes at your interval pace, and then you'll have a 2-minute walking recovery, just to allow you to be able to hit and target this interval pace so it's not too difficult. So we're allowing these 2 minutes walking recoveries between each effort just to make sure you're getting some recovery. Because if you were to go out and try and run the 12 minutes at interval pace straight off and maintain that pace, it would just overload. It would be very, very difficult, and you wouldn't gain too much benefit because you'd start losing form and so on. So do those 6 times 2 minute efforts again, the same as week 1, with a 2-minute walking recovery between each of those intervals. Once you've finished your last interval, you've done a 2-minute walk recovery, you can now do the cool down. So the cool down again is a standard cool down where you'll just run for 10 minutes. Start off at your faster end of your easy pace range, and just over the course of that 10 minutes, just slow the pace down so it's really, really comfortable. Aim to get back down to around about 6 out of 10 effort. And as soon as you're approaching the end of that 10 minutes, so around about 8 minutes in, just walk. So just slow that pace right down, go to a walk, and then just finish the session walking for 2 minutes or more. If you want to do 5 minutes, that's fine. Depends on where your run is in terms of how you've finished. If you're 5, 6, 7 minutes walk from home, just walk home. There's no need to jog. We just want to allow that heart rate to come right down. So that's the first session of the week. That's the interval session. And like I said, same as week 1. Session 2 is our threshold session. So for the threshold session, you're going to do the same warm-up again as we did for the interval session. So it's a full 20-minute warm-up involving the 10-minute run and involving about 10 minutes worth of those drills. So that will be the standard warm-up again that gets used for the threshold session. So the actual threshold session again, we're going to repeat exactly as we did in week 1. So the threshold session is 3 times 6 minutes with a 2-minute walk between each of those efforts. So again, VDOT app, look at your training paces. That will tell you what your threshold pace is. So that is what you should be targeting for this session. In terms of rate of perceived exertion, that's round about 8 out of 10 effort, 8.5 out of 10 effort. So you've done your 20-minute warm-up. You now do your first effort. So run for 6 minutes and then walk for 2 minutes and repeat that 3 times, finishing with a 2-minute walk. Once you've done that, then go in and do the cool down, which is our standard cool down. Again, 10 minutes, 8 minutes-ish of running within your easy pace range, and just finish up with 2 to 5 minutes walk at the end. So that's session 2. So we've done the intervals and we've done the threshold session. Session 3 of the week is our easy paced run. So this should be really, really easy. So don't be afraid to run too slow. We want you to run slow because this is a nice, easy run. We're building endurance. We're not worried about speed. We're already incorporating that into our other sessions. So this is just a really easy run. So we don't need to do a warm-up. We don't need to do a proper cool down because it's all within our easy pace range. So the easy paced run. Ideally, you want to be doing this for around about an hour. So 58 minutes and 62 minutes, just over an hour, depending on where you are on rounding up the nearest mile. As I said last week, for those that are only running for about 40 minutes, so if you've been going out on your long run each week for the last month or 2 months or so, and your long run is only up to around about 40 minutes or so, then I'm not asking you to go out and now increase that up to an hour. So if you're in that category of runner, where you're only really doing about 40-ish minutes or so at the moment, like I said last week, each week, just add a few minutes on. So this is week 2. If you added a couple of minutes on last week, and you maybe did 42 minutes or 43 minutes, then this week, there's no harm in just increasing that up to around about 45 minutes. However, if you're already able to run for around an hour, we don't need to really increase that. So we can still keep that exactly as we did last week, around about the hour mark. So how do we run this easy session? So again, looking at the VDOT app in your training paces, you're clearly going to see your easy pace range. So start out at the slower end of the scale. Run a mile, keep it nice and easy, keep it controlled, and just allow yourself to settle in to running. After each mile, you're going to walk for a minute. So you run a mile, walk for a minute, and then repeat that throughout the session. Once you get 2 miles in or halfway into the session, start looking at that easy pace range and just make sure you don't want to get slower. You can afford to get quicker. So if that means that each mile you start getting 5 seconds per mile quicker, that's completely fine. We just don't want to creep beyond that easy pace range. So keep it nice and controlled. Think about your running form, think about your cadence, maintaining an upright posture, and just staying relaxed. So you'll run these repeats. If you're running 40, 45 minutes, start thinking about how many miles you're going to run. So you know that when you reach your last mile, so as soon as you start your last mile, think about just slowing the pace for that last mile. So you're starting to bring the heart rate down just for the last mile. And then when you finish the run, you can then afford to just walk for 2 to 5 minutes, just to bring that heart rate down and just loosen off from the session. If you're obviously running up to an hour, then again, repeat what you did last week, repeat the same number of miles, same paces, include those minute walks, and that is pretty much the easy paced run. So why have I asked you guys to repeat exactly what you did last week? Where is the benefit? I thought I was going to get quicker. How can I get quicker if you're asking me to do the same thing? Well, the main reason is to allow for adaptation. So the body takes between 10 to 14 days to adapt to the training loads and the stresses that you place on yourself. So by repeating exactly what we did in week 1, we're basically giving the body the opportunity to start to get used to these training paces. So it may have felt this week might feel slightly easier. At the same time, it may not feel easier because you're still carrying some of the fatigue from week 1. So another reason why we're not increasing the intensity and volume week after week after week, because we're already carrying some of that fatigue across from week 1. So we just don't want to overdo it. But this adaptation phase will start to take place after 10 to 14 days. So next week, we'll already see some of the benefit from this first week's training that we did last week. And then so on into week 3, you'll see some benefit from week 1, and you'll start to see some benefit from week 2. So we don't want to go too hard too soon. It's a 12-week course. We've got plenty of time to see improvement. So that's basically week 2. Hopefully you're getting some benefit from this. Obviously, if you've got any comments, you need any help, you're unsure about your training paces, you might find that the paces that you've been asked to run at feel way too hard. So if your threshold pace, for example, where I've said it should feel about 8, 8.5 out of 10, if you think this is like almost flat out, drop me a comment below and I can look at some of your previous race data, look at the sessions, look at the data in the VDOT app and help you tweak to make sure that you're running within the paces that we're asking you to run at. So I'm here to help and offer support. Please don't be afraid to drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to help where I can. So please also subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any of the content that's up and coming. And like I said, I'll be able to help and support. So that is week 2. Thanks for following along. Hope you get some benefit out of it. I'm also following along on the course. So I'm a week ahead of you guys. It might feel like I'm cheating, but I'm a week ahead. So I'm able to obviously run along, do the sessions myself, and start to see me feeling fitter and stronger as well. And just make sure that what I'm asking you to do is achievable. So if I can achieve it, you can achieve it. So thanks for watching, and catch you next week, and happy running.